Hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Practical Applications, the show where we teach you about the various things you have in your home that you may not really give second thought about. On today's episode, we'll look at one of my favorite cooking utensils of all time, the slow cooker. And yes, it's a slow cooker, not a crock pot. A crock pot is a brand name, sort of like Kleenex. You know, it's Kleenex is a tissue, but not all tissues are Kleenex. In a similar vein, a crock pot is a slow cooker, but not all slow cookers are crock pots. Mine is not a crock pot brand slow cooker. Mine is actually, what is mine? Mine is a Bella, and I'm not here to endorse either brand, but we're just here to talk about them in general. The original idea for the crock pot, or slow cooker I guess, was thought up in the 1930s by one Irving Naxon when he submitted a patent for a heating element that was designed to fit another device called a crock, and that would be able to more or less heat food for a very long time and cook it over that period. Naxon was inspired by his mom, who would often tell Irving stories about her growing up and how she and her neighbors would essentially cook foods for very long hours from Friday to Sunday. They were Jewish, so they did this in the basically to help comply with Jewish Sabbath. And like I said earlier, Mr. Naxon basically took this idea and ran with it by patenting an electrical heating element and having a crock inside of the heating element. Eventually, a couple decades after the patent was filed in the 30s, the design was more or less bought by the rival manufacturing company, and they dropped it the crock pot, and it just became so ubiquitous that pretty much everyone just started calling them crock pots. But even now, all these decades later, the basic principles of a crock pot or a slow cooker are pretty much the same. So how do they work? Well, let's take a closer look at my model here. Now, all slow cookers are a little different, and mine may vary a little bit from yours, but the basic components of a slow cooker are pretty simple. They all start with an electrical heating element, and in this case, this one's mine, and then they follow that up with a device that can fit inside of the heating element called a crock. And I'm not quite sure if this is directly derived from crockpot or if it came from before crockpot, but they call it crock, so that's what I'm going to call it. Obviously, the crock is able to fit inside the heating element. Basically, when you turn it on, very low temperatures come from the heating element and move into the crock. And even at high, it's never very high. It's only a couple hundred degrees as compared to, say, like your oven, which can get 400 or 500 degrees. Anyway, basically, this very low heat in combination with the lid, which is very tight-fitting, creates steam, and this causes sort of like an indirect heat thing that goes on and helps cook the food. Some crockpots, or slow cookers I should say, like mine, have a little element that allows you to control how long you cook it for. Not all slow cookers have this, but it's a nice little thing to have, and from what I see, a lot of them do, but not all of them don't. And that's pretty much the basics. Put the crock in and turn it on and just sort of let it go as low heat and indirect heat from the steam cooks everything inside. Now, like I said, all slow cookers are a little different, but that's the basic gist of how a slow cooker works. And you can make a lot of different foods in these things. You can make barbecue-style pork, even though technically that's not real barbecue, but that's a whole nother matter. You can make buffalo chicken, stews, soups, chilies, a whole bunch of different things with these things. If you don't have one, I highly recommend you check these things out and see what you can make with them. I know that for this week, my dinner for the week is probably going to involve this thing in some way. I'm busy and don't have all that much time during the week. Anyway, that's all we have for this episode. I hope you join us next time, and I hope you have a good one. See you later. Bye.